Happy Saturday, everyone. This is a little different today. I wasn't going to do a video, and I'm not doing a video with a doll. This kind of spoke to me today, and I'm not even sure I'll get the words out right, but I'm going to try. For my something yellow for Becca's happy place, I have this mason jar with a pumpkin and fall leaves with berries. I wanted to do something for Becca's theme, and this is what I chose. I'm sitting in the living room and I do not have my tripod, so I'm hoping that this all works. I want to read you something. This is the introduction of the book of 2 Corinthians. Once there was a school in a village. Atop the school was a bell, which was rung every morning to call the children to class. The boys and girls arrived reluctantly and precisely at the hour, never a minute early. The bell would ring again in the afternoon, liberating the children to their play. The children bolted out of the door at the ringing of the bell, never lingering a minute late. This is how it was with each child, except one. There was a girl who came early. She helped the teacher prepare the room for the day. The same girl would stay late, cleaning the board and dusting the erasers. During class, she was attentive. She sat close to the teacher, absorbing lessons. One day, the other children were unruly and inattentive. The teacher used the girl as an example. Why can't you be like her? She listens. She works. She comes early. She stays late. It isn't fair to ask us to be like her, a boy blurted from the rear of the room. Why? Asked the teacher. The boy was uncomfortable, wishing he hadn't spoken. She has an advantage, he shrugged. And what's that? She's an orphan, he almost whispered as he sat down. The boy was right. The girl had an advantage of knowing that school, as tedious as it was better than the orphanage. Since she knew that, she appreciated what the others took for granted. We too were orphans, alone. No name, no future, no hope. Were it not for our adoption as his children, we would have no place to belong. We sometimes forget that. The Corinthians forgot. They had grown puffy in their achievements and divisive in their fellowship. They argued over the correct leader, the greater gifts. They rebelled against Paul's leadership. They were indifferent to sin and insensitive in worship. Paul defends his ministry and admonishes the Christians to remember to whom they belong. Look closely at yourself, Paul says, and that's in 13:5. Paul's words are clear. If anyone belongs to Christ, there is a new creation. The old things have gone. Everything is made new. That's 5:17. I have this book, and I really, really like it. I think I've showed it to you once before. It's Settle My Soul, 100 Quiet Moments to Meet with Jesus. And today I was doing number 5 because I'm as guilty as anyone else. I get caught up in TV, I get caught up in the iPad, the internet. I get caught up in everything except what I should. This makes me feel good. This gives me hope. It gives me strength. And I know that for a fact because a few years ago, I turned off everything every afternoon, and I sat down and I did Bible journaling. And the peace and comfort that I had over me at that time was something I can't really explain, but it was deeper than I have now, and I want it back. I want to read this to you. Go find your old self. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Really quick, I sat on my twin-sized bed, curled up in a lavender bedspread, sobbing until I felt I had no tears left. My 11-year-old self once again had her hopes dashed, causing a wave of grief that would only subside when exhaustion set in and sleep took over. Over the years, the four walls of my bedroom witnessed the heart cries of a young girl trying desperately to navigate relationships, reality, and a new normal. Toward the end of high school, I became connected to the little country church across the street, where I was told the gospel story. I responded to the Spirit's invitation and placed my trust in Jesus. Becoming a believer didn't change my circumstances, but it did change my response to them. As I spent time with my mentor from the church, Miss Pat, I saw where to take my sorrow, how to deal with my grief, and how to find my comfort in the security of God's love. Today's passage, 2 Corinthians 1, 3, and 4, is a picture of this very concept. I have made a little tag. I've made notes. And it goes on. I put the Walk Humbly sticker up there. As Miss Pat thought about the ways God had comforted her in the past, she reached out to me with that same comfort, helping me deal with the various situations life brought my way. She pointed me to the Father of compassion. Today, as a mother of teenagers and young adults, I often find myself in a situation similar to hers. In many ways, I feel that by ministering to the people God sends my way, I am being like Miss Pat was to me. I am comforting others with the comfort I myself have received from Christ. If you feel your past hurts lack purpose, I have a very simple solution. Go find a version of your old self and encourage her. Comfort her, love her, point her to Christ. When you do, you will find purpose in your past pain, and you'll be an example to someone who just might help the circle of comfort going. Who is your old self? Describe her. Describe how you would have liked to have been comforted at that time in your life. Tuck this away in your mind and commit to seeking out this old version of you. When you find her, love her well. Sometimes this makes you think, and I didn't have enough room. I guess I could write on the back of this. I was an ornery kid. I really was. I was an ornery kid. I should say an ornery teenager in my earlier teenage years. By the time I was 17, I was pre-engaged, engaged, and married 3 months after I turned 18. He was the love of my life, and I've never met anyone like him. I've never remarried. As many of you know, he was killed in a car accident in 1982 at 24 years old. That event in my life was really, really hard. It took a big hunk of my heart, and after he passed away, I did some really crappy things that I shouldn't have. Nothing illegal, but sinful. And I'm not proud of them. And even today, I've asked God I've asked Jesus over and over and over to forgive me. And I know He has, but I have a hard time forgiving myself. But anyway, this just kind of spoke to me today. And this is what I wanted to do. Probably many of you won't get anything out of this, but if I touch one of you, then it was worth it. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you tomorrow for Snuggle Sunday with Lindy Bloom Nursery, and for So Blue Dolly Sunday with Thomason's Once Upon a Child. I'll be doing one video incorporating both themes. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow.